Shadowland. They've got fire, they've got style, they make chaos look worthwhile. Partners in crime, heartbeats aligned, together they're one of a kind. They're the couple that slays together, storming the world, it's now or never. Back to back, through thick and thin, in the game of life they always win. Blazing trails, leaving legends behind. Love so fierce, it's one of a kind. We're the couple that slays together. Oh.
Hey guys, welcome back to The Couple That Slays Together. I'm Brandon.
Hi, and I'm Katie.
And we are back with another theatrical review. Katie, how you doing today?
It's been a hard month already. We're finally into February.
Yep.
January is behind us, but it's just already been, a lot of life stuff, e-lifing for sure. But we did have an amazing phone call. Doing a podcast like this, sometimes you wonder if it's worth it, right? You're kind of a micro podcast. You're reaching a few people each time, but we got to have a phone call with a very nice, wonderful friend of our family, and didn't even know that his daughter listens to us. And as I've been pretty open and vocal about, I have anxiety and panic disorder, and that's something that she relates to. So we just wanted to give it a wonderful shout out to our loyal listener, Ryan.
Yeah. Hey, Ryan, thanks for listening. And her dad, Paul. The whole reason why we had this phone call was because I told you guys I'm kind of in between places of employment right about the bat, and kind of just wanted to talk to one of my old buddies and mentors just about it and such. And to our surprise, he and his daughter watch our show together. So, guys, we really love the fact that you guys are supporting us. And, like Katie said, we never know if, seeing those 12 views or, 18 views or whatever. And it can be sometimes a little discouraging. And it's just one of those things where we've got to remember it's a walk, not a race, or whatever they say.
Marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, there you go. So, again, thanks, guys. And thanks to everybody, really, that listens to us. We really appreciate you.
And consistently listens to us.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome, because sometimes on our end of things, it can feel like a lot of work for now, a lot of, return.
Yeah.
We're not expecting, payoff, but just return.
Well, and I feel like everything that I get myself into turns into a 40-hour-a-week job, between this and a day job and booking and ranger sponsors and all that kind of stuff. It was just all these little ventures that I've set out for, and I've actually picked back up on my book last night as well. And so it's just another.
And you have your own show that you've been doing too.
Let's be real, though. I put out another episode of that. If you guys want to check it out, talk about our cat that passed away and everything, and just kind of things that are going on as of January in 2026. But hey, speaking of 2026, man, we have gotten. It's always kind of a slow build for the film industry, like to start. Kind of like, let's put out like a little rom-com, or let's put out like an after holiday thing. And, because January is such a low month, but it's like, it almost makes sense because people like us who are in areas of a lot of precipitation and snow, movies are
very cold.
Right. And movies are what we can really enjoy, especially people like us who review these. So I really feel like obviously one thing might not necessarily lead to another, but this year, 2026, they came out swinging with movies.
It's been like nonstop releases.
Yeah. Sure. One to two every weekend. Right.
Yeah.
1 to 2 every weekend. I feel like pop culture is saying, okay, we're kind of in a slump. What's popular? Boom, horror.
Right.
You're seeing it a lot in the cons. And again, I know we have a big bias towards Scream. We both love Scream, but you look at the faces of horror, if you will. And Ghostface is kind of that everlasting, from when we were kids up until now. You've got these new guys coming in, obviously, like, I know they're not that new, but, like Art the Clown, he's about 10 years old, and Jigsaw is about 25 years old now. But, it's like,
or like Megan.
Right.
Megan's like a newer, like, face in horror, things like that.
Or like Annabelle or whatever. But the point I'm trying to make is you're not seeing a lot of the old Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, Freddy Kruegers these days. So it's like, what faces are we left with? And it's like, but now a lot. What I was trying to say is, in the convention circuit, a lot of the horror people are bleeding over into the pop culture, and it's becoming more and more popular as people get older. You know, this isn't related at all, but you know, I feel like with me kind of losing my job because of you know, older people are into flying model planes and such, and that's what I was doing. I was designing a magazine for that. I feel like, you know, we're seeing older generations kind of go out of that, but then we look at things like horror movies and cinema, and younger people are coming into that, which is an interesting kind of dynamic. And again, one might not necessarily relate to another, but you kind of see things that go, and you kind of see things that get more popular.
Yeah.
So
I think too, when it comes to horror, I think as a human experience, we can all relate to at some point in our life being scared of something.
yeah,
Whether that's heights, bugs,
right,
ghosts, slashers, things like that. And
Yep.
so even like the younger generations that are getting these, you know, new horrors, or maybe like the reboot of,
Mhm.
but then that kind of sparks for them to see what the originals are like. Like
Yeah.
I think about our nephew Brady,
Yeah.
and like
It's 14.
yeah, some of the things that are the reboots are new for him,
Yeah.
but causing him to go back and be like, I want to see what that was really like, and things like that.
Like what Scream did for us when we were,
Yeah.
is it?
Yeah, I wouldn't have watched Halloween if it wasn't for Scream.
I
Yeah.
don't know if I would have either.
Yeah.
And maybe, but you know, but I mean, it's
He
also,
was 20 plus years old at the time. It's similar time frames and things like that.
but also kids our age we grew up in like heavy action figure land and Barbie land and such.
Yeah.
And so you're starting to see more and more of these kids become adults, and 3D printers are a thing now.
Yeah.
Funko Pops are a thing now. NECAs are a thing now. There's all sorts of merchandise being made that
Well-
you just didn't see.
Well, even outside of horror with that, I think of the He-Man movie that's about to come out. My brother was huge into He-Man. He's about 5 years older than me.
Yeah.
Born in 82, you know, basically Gen X,
Yeah.
right in the middle of everything. And he had every figure, every toy of it. I mean, you name it, He-Man, he had it, he quoted it, he loved it. And now this movie's coming out when he's in his 40s, and he can share that with his kids and everything.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Well, today we are going to be taking a look at our first horror movie for the year. But Katie, do you want to start us off with our little middle segment here with our Would You Rather book? We want to kind of keep going with this.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen this before, we got this book on Amazon, giving credit where credit is due. It is a Would You Rather horror edition made by Sophia Rivers. It has over 200 plus questions that we like to just go in blind and just select a page. Now, if we have read it before, then we will, which we haven't really gotten into that, but we will re-flip through. But we like to just go in blind. We're not going page by page here.
Yeah. There are other options as well that we could get on Amazon, not horror related, but if we want to keep going with the Would You Rather theme.
Yeah.
So,
All right. So what we like to do is each one of us will have a turn asking, and then we both give our answers of which one we would rather. And we invite you to tell us in the comments as well, which one would you rather? So our first question here is, would you rather encounter a black hole that leads to a parallel universe where reality is radically different?
we did this one last time.
We did?
Mm-hmm.
First time ever. I literally just said we hadn't done that. All right. Thank you. Would you rather wake up to find your room covered wall to wall with predatory moths, their eyes glowing ominously in the dark?
We did this one already.
We did?
Mm-hmm.
I've jinxed myself by saying this hasn't happened. All right, let's try this again. Maybe third time's the charm. Would you rather bind yourself with a blood oath forever linked to an institution with unyielding consequences for life, or barter your soul, potentially losing the essence of your being to a force beyond comprehension?
We did this one already. I'm serious.
Are you kidding me?
No. I'm pretty sure. I remember doing that one. I think I read that one, but
How is this possible?
I think we did that one.
All right. Would you rather pick up a hitchhiker that claims to be a time traveler, spinning tales of epics yet to come, or pick up a hitchhiker that claims to be an extraterrestrial entity from a foreign planet wearing a human disguise?
I'm going to go with the first one. That one sounds like it would make more sense.
A time traveler?
Yeah, that can tell you all these things. Yeah.
I think I would go with the extraterrestrial because the time traveler could be lying. He could be like, in 20 years, this will happen. But the extraterrestrial, being from a foreign planet wearing a human disguise, I could be like, show me.
Yeah, true.
Or I could be like, hey, teach me your technology.
Yeah.
I think it would be more beneficial to the human race.
Okay. I'm pretty sure we have not done this one. Okay. Would you rather wake up to find yourself transformed into a bear, feared and...
We've done this one.
Are you sure?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. Would you rather purchase a single-family house that eerily comes complete with a fully functional cremation furnace in the garage, or own a residential property that harbors a wall of mortuary bodies, that harbors a wall of mortuary body coolers in the basement and chilling enigma to the dwelling's morbid past?
I feel like the first one is like the Burbs, where like they've got like the furnace in the basement.
Yeah.
But I think they'd do the first one.
I guess that one too. The other one I don't really understand, so...
I think it's like, would you rather have it like a crematorium or like freezers where they're like kept on ice?
Yeah. Well, actually, I'm going to take that back because we could use the freezers for steaks and stuff. So I'm going to go with the... I don't really care what they used to be down there as long as they're cleaned and sanitized before I move in. So
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and say that one.
All right. Well, there you go. If you are all if you are at all interested in that book, that is a find that we got from Amazon.
Yep. All right. So we are going to go ahead and get into it. Katie, what's the movie that we're doing today?
Today, first off the bat, we are going to be talking about the new movie, Primate.
Yep.
Just came out.
Now, Primate was the first horror movie that we have seen here in 2026. We're a little late to the party on getting this one reviewed, as I believe it's going to be probably out to streaming soon. But we still wanted to talk about it because it was good. Now, we have decided on these, especially the theatrical ones, we're gonna have to change it up a little bit because we do want to be a little bit more with the times of the movies and not just do retro reviews. So obviously there's gonna be a couple of subtle differences. Obviously we don't have the DVD here to demonstrate what we're talking about. Maybe we'll print some posters out in the future, but also we're gonna do a little bit of a more hyphenated, not as many notes. Now, I will say, because it's been a little bit since we've seen this, I did have to kind of go through and get the run through just to kind of, get a refreshment. So it might be more of a hybrid of our old style versus our new, but it's going to be more of a discussion than like me reading the plot and stuff. So
as always, though, we do highly recommend that you, on your own, watch these films before you see a review, because we could very well give a spoiler.
Yeah, we are going to still spoil the crap out of everything. Like there's just I want to talk about it.
Let's get warned.
Yep.
You can't get ticked off at us. We're not going to hold back on twists and turns and, any different aspect of the film that we're reviewing. It's part of it.
Yep.
So if you have not seen Primate, highly recommend for you to go ahead and do that if you don't want anything spoiled.
Yeah. Now, our horror subgenre for this film, which is, again, Primate 2026, I have down that it was more of a monster movie.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely teen base, viral disease because our little friend gets rabies.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thriller, and I said that it was more psychological because it was still like their little pet friend, and it it kind of fucks with your psyche.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you say?
I had those exact same ones.
Okay.
Sometimes I feel like did you say sci-fi?
I didn't.
I went back and forth on it because it isn't necessarily like, oh, it's, from another planet kind of sci-fi, but it is, the whole premise is that the primate ends up getting rabies and it makes him kind of go nutsoid.
Yep.
So you could argue sci-fi, you could argue against it, but I did go, it was the only other thing.
Yep. This film was written by and directed by Johannes Roberts. And our cast for the film is Johnny Sequoia as Lucy, Victoria Wyant as Kate, Jess Alexander as Hannah, Gia Hunter as Aaron, Troy Kotsur as Adam, he's the dad, Benjamin Cheng as Nick, Charlie Mann as Drew, Tian Simone as Brad, and this gentleman's his name is Miguel Torres Umba, and he was the suit actor for Ben.
And that is a cool little fun fact about it is they didn't really do CGI, right? This was
Yeah, it was all practical. It was
which is awesome.
yeah, partially there was like a robotic animatronic Ben, the ape, and then the chimp. And then yeah, this gentleman did a lot of the action stuff. So
If you have listened to, I think it was in our introduction episode, I was a huge fan of Face Off, the TV series that was on Sci-Fi that gave us it was a competition reality-based show, but it gave a lot of behind the scenes of how practical stage effects
Yeah.
are done. Now, they wouldn't necessarily have the mechanics like the blood splurting and things like that, but just how to make, it's not CGI. It's not typing it into ChatGPT and getting something spit out at you. It is manipulating clay with your hands and getting in there and actually making it from physical props. And I give mad credit to them for that. It's harder to do, but it comes off more realistic in the movie.
Yeah. Our plot summary for this film, just a short plot summary, is a group of friends' tropical vacation turns into a terrifying primal tale of horror and survival at Lucy's home. So obviously this movie opens up. It kind of opens up in the middle of the movie, like a little bit with not really the middle, but like if you remember, it opens with the veterinarian. It shows you he's in the cage and he's trying to see what's going on with Ben, and he doesn't realize that he's been I guess he was bitten by a mongoose is what it was. That's causes rabies.
Yes.
Which I never really fact checked that, but it worked for the film, I guess. So
there are a couple points in the film where they state that 'cause it's set in Hawaii, so it's an isolated island. Native animals, insects, things there, and Ben, their primate, is basically like a adopted brother they've grown up with.
Yeah.
But the father is deaf. And I think at several different points he talks about how rabies is not native to Hawaii. So it's questioned how the mongoose got it in the first place and where to give it to Ben.
Right, and it's like, was it bird flu that evolved into rabies? Like, who knows? I mean, they never really explained that. But also, to what you just said, everything you said was correct, but I wanted to add on, the mother has passed away and left. She was Ben's primary caretaker, and when she passed away, they were left with Ben, but they knew how to talk with Ben, especially because the dad, like I think you said, it was deaf, and they had to do sign language, and obviously they were teaching Ben and communicating with Ben with sign language.
And it adds into the creepy factor later, but he has like the speaking boards as well, where he could like press.
Yep, Lucy, bad.
Yeah,
Lucy, we see it in the trailer. Yeah. So, but in the beginning, with so you see the vet basically get killed. Kind of. You don't. You do what you don't. But the violence is brief, shocking, unresolved. Very much the opener for like a horror movie. Honestly, very similar to the original Jurassic Park when they're putting the goat or whatever in the cage and they're trying to feed the T-Rex, and I felt like it was kind of similar to that. And then
and at this point in the movie, you're not really sure where you think that may have happened before they're showing up.
Yeah.
You don't really know until later that it's actually like a mid cut edit that you will meet the vet person and then this will happen to him.
Yeah. So then we cut to the two friends going home. So it's two best friends, Lucy and her best friend. Hang on, let me get the name. I think Kate. Her name is Kate because her sister's name is Erin. So Kate was her best friend. And Hannah was like the bitch or whatever. So she brings her best friend, but then her best friend brings her friend, and it's like, oh, okay.
And they don't really get along, I think. There's a little bit of tension already.
Yeah, like the final girl and the girl that she, the friend that she brought didn't really like each other, but they are at the airport and they meet these two guys and they're kind of flirting, on the airplane and such. And like they end up giving them their numbers and like their address and saying like, hey, come over. I don't know how responsible that was, but just
I don't think they gave the address at that point.
Oh, maybe they texted later. Okay.
Later they're like, later on after things happen, the girls are trying to get them to help.
Yep.
They like call and the guys are drunk and they're like, help us, we're at this address.
Yeah.
And they, spoiler alert, are of no help.
Yeah. They're kind of like these douchey teenage kids.
Yeah, yeah. But I will say that is a really cool scene with when he does show up in the bed with the curtains.
Yeah.
And
But then, obviously, so they get to the house. House is like this gorgeous house in Hawaii, and just
mhm,
something that, most people, they probably feel like they could never afford, or, only
yeah,
use as like a vacation house. Um,
it's very isolated. That's another part to this.
yep. So obviously Lucy comes home. Her dad's there. He's deaf or whatever. Her dad is also this like famous author, and he's doing like a book tour or a signing or something, and doesn't
Right.
want to, but wants to be able to spend time with his daughters.
Right.
And
I
yeah,
will say that is something that kind of took me out was he was supposed to be like leaving town
yeah,
and to go to the book signing and leaving like these, older teens, college age kids at the house. Very nice house, great pool, infinity pool up to a cliff.
yeah.
Big plot point.
And it's like a cove, like they go down,
Fine.
like they built like a
Yeah,
stone
it's
cove
like a
in.
grotto kind of a
Yeah,
thing, like a double story. But what didn't make sense to me is like he leaves and he's at the book signing. They like show him there.
yeah,
And then it's like, oh my gosh, I've got to get home. And he was only like, what, 20 minutes away?
something like that. Yeah.
He got home really quick when you're thinking he's like,
And this is obviously later in the movie. But
yeah, you're thinking like he's in,
yeah,
flown somewhere, like he's in mainland USA or something. But he gets back home fairly quickly
yeah,
for being so worried of leaving them
yeah.
alone.
The dynamic in the house is already rough
Yeah.
because, again, Lucy doesn't like her Kate's friend. The little sister's mad that Lucy never came home during the year. They're all, kind of still mourning their mom.
Mhm.
Dad's leaving to go off on a book tour, like, or whatever, a signing, and everybody's like, they're like, Dad, don't go. We want to spend more time with you, whatever. Tensions are already kind of crazy in the house in the whole movie, but
There's not a lot of trust between
right,
the ladies, it seems like at all.
yeah. But at first they see the bite, they treat it as nothing, it'll be fine, whatever. He's vaccinated, this and that. But as the film goes on, they start to realize, oh, Ben's not Ben. He's
Mhm.
so they're in the pool, like, so they all go down to their little like pool and like their grotto. It literally looks like something like out of Little Mermaid or something, but at a house.
Mhm.
And it, I personally felt like, because Ben started to go bad when they were in the pool and such. I really felt like they spent so much time in the pool. Like, that was like one of my gripes is
Yeah.
that house was huge. It was on a hill. There was all, obviously, so we had one of the deaths was so Kate's brother was there as well. And you could tell that Lucy and Kate were kind of into each other or whatever.
Mhm.
And Ben, I want to say, was he the first kill? I can't remember, but he ends up
I think so.
pushing the guy off of the cliff.
Yeah.
And
And they definitely allude to that's probably what someone or something's going to happen. My thought process was I was thinking that that's how they were going to kill Ben
yeah,
the ape, was that the big thing with me, I didn't mind the amount of time spent in the pool because it made sense,
yeah,
because rabies causes an irrational fear of water, which they tag that in the very beginning so that and you're on the same page.
yeah,
So it makes sense to me to kind of stay in the water because he's scared to go in the water, right? But what got me is the entire time that they're in and out and back and forth with the pool. It's kind of like playing tag and having base. Like, I'm safe now. Why they wouldn't try to splash him?
yeah.
Because he would get close to the water and they're like, get away, get away. And I'm like, splash him.
And they had super soakers in that thing with all the water toys.
Yes. I'm like, super soak the guy, splash him, do something like that because then maybe he'll, run into the house and then you can get your cell phone.
Yeah,
There's what a main theme in this movie that I kind of take fault and dislike is the amount of times where they're like, "Oh, I've got a phone. Oops, I dropped it."
yeah,
And to me the pool is that with that too. You could use that more than just a safety net. You could, you know, it, splash him, you could super soak, you could even like you're sopping wet, like take a shirt off and slap him with like
right.
something more than just
Yeah.
playing safe. Yeah.
I probably, and I hate to say this because, like, I probably would feel different because it's like one of my beloved animals, but if I could clearly tell, okay, this isn't Ben anymore,
Right.
probably would have put some shoes on, A, and B, probably would have attempted to kick him. Like, I hate to say that, but like
Yeah.
if it's literally coming down to your survival,
Yeah.
and chimps can be fucking strong
Oh,
as shit.
yeah.
So, I mean, I would probably,
Yeah.
again, if I'm cornered, I'd be kicking him. Like, I'm sorry, I would.
And at one point, Ben is on like the ledge of the infinity cliff, and
Yeah.
I'm like, that's when you splash him,
Yeah.
And then if he freaks out and you don't want animal cruelty, but this, like you said, he's rabid now.
Yeah.
He's aggressive now, and rabies is 100% fatal in all animals. So even if you sedated him and kept him, it's going to eventually kill him.
Yeah.
You may as well. That was a big point in it for me.
But for me, I guess for me is like, and yeah, I guess thinking about it more though too, I mean, because they are still very young, they're still like 19, 20 years old kids. They don't know they might not necessarily know more than like what the adults do, like say what her mom would have known, or like
Yeah.
the vet, or even the dad. But so between that and still having him be a part of the family, probably really difficult to just push him. Now,
Yeah.
and again, not saying you're wrong. I would
I'm
have.
saying splash him.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah.
But at the same time, right? Yeah. So, but it's like at the same time, I would have been like, like I feel like that's what the kicking's for, is like to at least try to what's the term? Neutralize him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and at this point too, with the like playing bass with the pool and everything, he's already bitten the younger sister, and she's bleeding profusely.
And the best friend's dead.
And the best friend is dead. It's kind of beyond the point of I want to be nice to the animal.
Yeah.
It is survival.
And I definitely noticed too, like, yeah, obviously the older sister is trying to help her younger sister, but like Hannah, the bitchy girl, like she just is kind of in it for herself. Like she'll try to be like, here's a raft or here's this, but I gotta, and she tried to, but she tried to call the cops and leave and, and everything and such.
Yeah.
So
there is a couple times where they play like team defense.
Yep.
Where, you distract, I'll try to get to and things like that. But again, it's always like, oh, okay, plan succeeded. Oops, drop the weapon.
Yep.
Drop the phone. Don't. And it's exciting, and there are jump scares, and it is good, but it is to the point where it gets frustrating when you're just like, you dropped it again.
Yep. So then it gets to the point where the guys actually do show up, and by this point, they have already kind of gotten out of the pool-ish and run around the house and stuff. I mean, the sister is obviously still stuck in the pool on a raft, but the guys are there. They're thinking they're going to get some, and
Which, can you imagine having that kind of a wound in any part of your body, but it's in like her upper thigh.
Yeah.
And then be in chlorine water.
Right.
It would be so painful.
Yeah. And also, like, for the older sister, like, you got like the, she's got some wounds too, because obviously she's and her friend have gone through the house, and they were stuck in the
Broke
closet.
glass,
Yep.
no shoes.
Right. And so it's like all that, plus my pet monkey, plus these douchebags are trying to come in here and screw me. It's like there's so many things that it's like there's so many like emotions of like fuck, like, so. But yeah, I mean, pretty intense kills. Like the chimp obviously kills both the guys, and the white guy, he rips his jaw off. I mean, it literally it was,
which is something that chimps do.
Yeah. And it's literally like Craig Robinson from Pineapple Express. Like, I seen you rip that dude's jawbone off. I seen it, like that's what he fucking did. He pulled it right off.
Yeah.
So, so then the dad finally comes home. He is back from the signing. It's this exchange of fights in the, by this point, it's just the two daughters and him that are left.
Yep.
The bitchy friend dies in the car out in the driveway and stuff. And then, the dad comes in
after more poor decisions and dropping things.
Right. And, self-sacrifices, you know what I mean? I feel like your problem with Supernatural, I feel like is happening right here in this Primate movie, because everybody's like sacrificing themselves for everybody. But then they end up, I don't even, the chimp, they kill him, right?
Well, there were, I think there's at least one time where they like knock him out.
Yes.
And then they like come together in this huddle and they're crying and everything. And I'm like, you only knocked him out.
Yeah.
He's going to come to eventually. Like, shouldn't you secure the situation before like.
That's what it is. Yeah. So it gets to the end, and Lucy lures Ben into a confined space. The structural class drops in Blunt's forest environment. The kill is not triumphant. It's exhausting, messy, but it's, Ben dies as an animal and not as a villain. And then, the authorities come, but they're too late.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
I did put down here too that I think the sad thing about this, it's a good, entertaining horror movie. It's definitely suspenseful. Um, and obviously you have those like, quote unquote bimbo moments where you're like dropping things and everything. But I kept coming back to it's sad the fact that our villain, our primate with rabies, really didn't do anything wrong.
yeah,
He was locked in his own cage. The mongoose showed up and bit him, and it caused all of this. Whereas, like when you have like a slasher or like Michael, Jason, they've done something wrong,
right,
and so you're rooting, for the humans to survive and for the chimp not to.
right,
But then you also got to think about like the poor guy didn't really. I mean, he ends up doing wrong,
yeah,
but the start of all of this was the stupid mongoose.
right. Okay, so now we are still going to do, we're going to move on to our interesting things of note. Now, this is also going to be a little bit more abbreviated as we progress into our show here.
Mm.
Only going to give a few points here, especially for the theatrical films. And there's not a lot of info out there anyway.
Yeah.
So we're going to do our best. But okay, so as we said before, no CGI chimp. The director, who also directed, by the way, he directed 47 Meters Down. And there was another big one that I can't remember I saw. But used practical effects instead of CGI for the killer ape. Ape or chimp. I don't know if he was almost like a
I
hybrid.
think he
Like,
was a chimp.
yeah, but I mean, he was a big chimp.
Yeah, there's definitely times where he seems smaller and then he seems bigger, and I realize that's probably a theatrical choice
Yep.
depending on the scene.
Yeah.
But I want to say he was a chimp.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. But he was the actor in the suit, Miguel Torrezumba. He was a movement specialist with a performance that was refined to be both endearing and terrifying.
There were a couple of times when he did like the hanging down with one arm.
Yep.
And drop down. That was pretty cool.
Yep. Now, what you might not know too is this film actually had an Oscar, an Academy Award winner in it. Troy Kotsur, who won Best Supporting Actor for the 2021 film Coda. He plays the dad, basically. So yeah. And then our last interesting thing to note here was there was a last minute rewrite. The script was radically rewritten a week before filming due to heightening the tension and removing easy outs for the characters. So a lot of the things that you saw, they wrote. So
Yeah, that honestly may have been the reason why you had a lot of the like, here's a cell phone, drop it. Here's a weapon, drop it.
yeah, maybe it was too easy for him in the original plot.
Maybe I remember very early on when he was on the ledge, and I'm thinking splash him. Then we have like a kind of go-to line that we use. It's "cuz plot."
Yeah.
Where like something doesn't make sense, but if it were to go that way, then there wouldn't be the rest of the movie or the TV show or whatever.
Right.
So like, cuz plot, I guess they didn't splash him and have him fall down the ledge in the first 30 minutes of the movie. But there were several like that. So it makes sense that was a last minute rewrite.
Okay, so now we are going to get into Katie, what was your favorite scene of this movie?
So I'm not trying to take the easy way out, but I think that my favorite scene and my favorite killer are the same. Which is, and I don't remember his name off the top of my head right now, but the D-bag friend that thinks he's gonna get some and literally like lays down in her bed, waiting for her, the one that gets his jaw ripped off.
Yeah.
To me, that was kind of like the only kill where I was like, yeah, you deserve that, dude.
Yeah.
What about you?
My favorite scene was when the two girls were in the closet and Ben was looking for them and he kept getting distracted by the TV and then like he'd hear them again and he was like getting to the point where he's like on the clothes.
Very
and like I
suspenseful.
thought that was probably my favorite scene.
Yeah. What about your kill?
The best death in my opinion was the same one, kid in the bed that gets his jaw ripped off.
Yeah.
So speaking of deaths, let's move on to the death count. How many deaths do you think there were in this movie?
It honestly was a lot less than what we've seen on like Terrifier and things like that for sure. 5?
Close, 6.
Ah,
Yep.
that may be the closest I've ever been.
Yeah, might be. All right, so now we are going to go into our rating system. Now this will obviously still stay the same, simply because we want to be a part of the conversation. A lot of times you and your friends will say, hey, what do you give this for a letter grade? Or what do you give it for a ranking 1 through 10? Or how many stars do you get it? Well, we here at the Couple That Slays Together, we want, like I said, we want to be a part of the conversation for everybody. So we do all 3.
Because it's our show and we want to.
Yeah. So, Katie, what do you give this for a letter grade?
I gave this a B+.
Okay.
My key notes with my grade that I put is that it kept me invested. It was interesting to add that it wasn't. We've seen other creature movies where somebody is, frothing at the mouth, but they allude to rabies, but they don't outright say rabies. So it adds to with the fear of the water and everything. So,
Yeah.
uh, those were kind of my two main things. It did keep me invested, even though I was frustrated with the characters dropping things. Um, but I liked that to me the twist on the intense fear of water
Yep.
was cool. What about you? What was your letter grade?
So I just gave this a straight B. It wasn't anything that I was like, oh
Blown
my
away.
God, that was so awesome. Like it was good. Like I'm not going to say anything bad about it per se. There wasn't really a lot that I was like, yeah, I don't,
Yeah.
So I mean, it had a very healthy pacing. I felt like I got enough from exposition from learning about the mom's death and that she used to be the caretaker for the chimp, and then now they are, and so it moved quite smoothly. So that's why I gave it a B. And then my rating for number 1 through 10, I gave this an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
So yeah, I
I
just felt
gave
like
it an 8.5.
8.5.
So we're right there. B plus
Okay.
8.5. 8. I felt the same way. Entertaining. I do think that it's one of those. If you were to ask me in 6 months about it, I probably would forget.
Yeah, if we're doing like our end of the year review, I'd have to be like, oh yeah, Primate.
Yeah, that was that one with the water in the pool. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, what do you give this for a star rating?
I went ahead with a solid 3.
Okay.
Again, it's worth a watch. It's entertaining. Is it going to be, a top 10 horror? No, not for me.
Yeah.
What about you?
It's funny that you gave it the plus and the 8.5, and I gave it the B and the 8. I gave this 3.5 stars.
Oh.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
just felt like that was fair. Okay, so another rating system that we have here at the Couple That Slays Together is we like to talk about our replay value.
Honestly, I feel like that's the most important, right?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it can be. They go hand in hand, I feel. But a replay value is basically like, is this one you're going to throw on when you're cleaning, or that you want to watch on a Sunday afternoon and you don't mind falling asleep, through it because it's a comfort movie. You're not going to put on necessarily like an Academy Award winning crazy thing, unless that is your thing. We don't know. We all have our own comfort movies, but it's it might be a great story, but not one you ever have to watch again, or it could be total shit, but you love it.
Yeah.
So, Katie, what do you give this for replay value?
I put down unlikely.
Okay.
I well, I just said it's probably one I won't remember in 6 months. I think it is one of those, like, once you've seen it,
Yeah.
you've kind of seen it. It wouldn't necessarily be something I would put. I'm not huge into the creature movies anyway.
Yeah.
Coyotes and Wolfman and things like that. It's just not the horror that I go to.
Yep.
So I don't see myself like putting it on while I'm cleaning or playing a video game.
Yeah.
What about you?
I said I was neutral on it. This was one that, like, I agree. I'm not like, sitting here like, when the hell is this going to come out on streaming? I've got to watch it again.
Right.
Other than like to review or something,
Right.
But it is one where if like a friend from Michigan came down, or like somebody from out of town was like, hey, you want to watch a movie tonight? Like, just chill it at your house.
Yeah,
And
see?
they're like, I haven't seen that Primate movie. Would you want to watch it? I wouldn't say no, so that's why I said neutral.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, guys, that about wraps it up for our theatrical review on Primate. Again, worth seeing in theater, but not a whole lot of replay value, just a little bit. But
And leave us in the comments. What are your thoughts on this? Did you see it in theaters? What are your thoughts? Maybe you completely disagree with us, which is fine.
Yeah.
Everyone has opinions, just like they have other pieces of anatomy, and usually they stink.
Yep. And hey, guys, you can check us out on socials. We'll put them up right here. And you can find us on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and all the things.
And I just learned about a new social media. It's called Epic Studios, and I did just make our page. So we have like no followers at the moment on that, but you can always check us out there as well. It is just The Couple That Slays Together.
Okay.
So.
And lastly, guys, you can always send us an email too. It's thecouplethatslays.together@gmail.com. That's always an option if you want to have a request, complaint, something you want us to unbox, something you want to talk to us about on the show. Always here if you want to chat. And hey, if Paul and Ryan, you want to come on the show, we'd love to have a chat with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we're not against just interviewing and talking with like celebrities per se, but it's nice to talk to other people like with like the same interests and such. And
Yeah.
oh, I agree with that, or I disagree with that completely.
We
I love.
we have a really cute interview that we did with our niece on Thanksgiving that we need to just
Yeah,
get it put together and
yeah.
yeah.
It's mixed in the archive videos that I still need to do, which I'm hoping to be able to get to. But yeah. So again, thanks guys for joining us for our review on Primate. My name is Brandon.
I'm Katie. And until next time, go enjoy your horror.
We're the couple that slays together.